There's a level of discipline that feels almost unnatural. Most people think discipline is about waking up early, controlling your habits, or forcing yourself to work. But the scariest level of discipline isn't loud. It's not dramatic. It's not inspirational to watch. It's silent. It's lonely. And it demands a version of you that most people never meet. It's the level of discipline where you stop negotiating with yourself, where you stop waiting for motivation, where you don't need witnesses, applause, or reminders. It's when you do what you said you would do, even when everything inside you screams to stop, and very few people ever reach it. Most people struggle with discipline because they think it's an event, something you switch on when life gets hard. But real discipline doesn't arrive in dramatic moments. It's built in hours no one talks about. Think about your own life. You promise yourself you'll wake up early, but the bed feels warm. You say you will start working, but 5 minutes later you're scrolling again. You talk about changing, but the old habits pull you back like gravity. You feel guilty. You feel frustrated. You feel confused because you genuinely want to be consistent, but something inside keeps pulling you away from the life you know you could have. And the worst part, you convince yourself it's okay. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You make excuses sound reasonable. Everyone knows this cycle. You feel the weight of your own potential, trapped inside routine distractions. That's why when you meet someone with iron discipline, they almost don't feel human. They're calm, focused, predictable in the best possible way, unmoved by noise and untempted by shortcuts. We've all met someone like that, and it changes something inside you because you realize you're not tired, you're undisciplined. Let me tell you a story about someone who reached this level of discipline, a young man named Elias. Elias wasn't gifted, talented, or naturally motivated. In fact, for most of his life, he was the complete opposite. He slept in. He quit easily. He hid from challenges. He escaped into distractions. He avoided pressure. Life didn't attack him. He simply never fought back. But one night changed everything. It was past midnight. He opened a message from an old school friend, a photo of a brand new office, a caption, "Finally built my own company. Remember our dreams?" Elias stared at the screen. His chest felt heavy. He wasn't jealous. He was ashamed, because they had the same dreams, but very different discipline. He whispered to himself, "How did he get so far? And I'm still here." That night, something snapped, not emotionally, not dramatically, quietly, almost peacefully. He made a decision. No more negotiating with myself. The next morning, his alarm rang at 6. Every muscle begged for 5 more minutes, but he stood up, not because he felt motivated, but because he had made a promise. He worked for 1 hour, just 1 hour. Then he went to work. Day after day, he repeated that single hour, sometimes tired, sometimes stressed, sometimes bored, but he didn't break the promise, not once. Weeks passed, months passed. His friends stopped believing he would change, but he didn't care. He wasn't living for applause. He wasn't chasing motivation. He was chasing discipline. One morning, something strange happened. He woke up before his alarm, not because of excitement, but because discipline had become part of him. He said no to distractions without effort. He chose focus instead of comfort. He chose long-term respect over short-term relief. One day he looked in the mirror and realized, I transformed through boring consistency, not heroic motivation. That's the scariest level of discipline, when the things that break most people don't even shake you anymore. Why do most people fail to reach this level? Because the brain is built for comfort. It protects you from effort, uncertainty, and struggle. It loves routines, even unhealthy ones. That's why motivation feels good, but disappears fast. But discipline? Discipline rewires the brain. Here's the truth. Your brain doesn't respond to your goals. It responds to your patterns. If your daily patterns say, I avoid discomfort, you get weaker. If your patterns say, I chase distraction before effort, you get slower. If your patterns say, I only work when I feel like it, you become inconsistent. But when your patterns say, I do it no matter what, everything changes. Your brain adapts. Your identity evolves. Your habits strengthen. Your resistance fades. Real discipline is scary because it creates a new identity. Not someone who wants to change, but someone who has become the change. Let's talk about how you can reach this level. Step 1. Choose one non-negotiable. Not a big list, not 10 habits. Just one thing you will do every single day for the next 60 days. Reading, cold showers, 1 hour of deep work, exercise, writing, learning. One thing, no excuses. Step 2, discipline window. Create a 30-60 minute time block daily. No negotiation, no delay. This builds internal authority. Step 3, remove optional comfort. Discipline dies from optional comfort. Not real problems, but small temptations. During your discipline window, no phone, no social media, no messages, no distractions. Step 4, identity shift. Stop saying I want discipline. Start saying I am disciplined. Identity creates action. Step 5, boring consistency. Greatness is built on boring days. If you only work when it feels good, you will never reach elite discipline. Step 6, weekly proof. At the end of every week, ask, what did I do to prove who I'm becoming? Not what you plan to do, what you did. This creates self-respect, the fuel of discipline. Let's zoom out. Discipline is not about suffering. It's about freedom. Freedom from emotional chaos, procrastination, self-doubt, wasted time, regret, old identity. You don't discipline yourself to be strict. You discipline yourself to be free. There's a price for discipline, but there's a far heavier price for not having it. Most people choose comfort today and regret tomorrow. Discipline is choosing discomfort today to earn freedom tomorrow. And when you understand that, discipline becomes a gift, not a burden. The runner. A man decided he would run 1 kilometer every day. Some days he was tired. Some days it rained. Some days he had work early, but he ran 1 kilometer every day. 3 years later, he ran a marathon, not because he trained hard, but because he trained consistently. The student. A girl studied 20 minutes a day. Her classmates crammed for hours. They burned out. She didn't. By the end of the year, she topped the entire class. 20 minutes. That's discipline, not intensity, consistency. The artist. An artist drew 1 sketch a day. Most were average. Some were terrible, but he never missed a day. 5 years later, people called him gifted. They didn't see the discipline behind the gift. You don't need to change your whole life overnight. You don't need to become a new person by next week. You don't need motivation every day. You need one thing, a promise to yourself that you do not break. Discipline isn't loud. It isn't dramatic. It isn't heroic. It's silent. It's patient. And it's powerful. The scariest level of discipline is when you become someone who keeps going long after others have stopped. And that level is available to you, starting today. If this message spoke to you, if it reminded you of the person you're trying to become, then stay with me, join this journey, subscribe, grow with us, and choose the version of yourself that refuses to quit. Your future is already waiting. Now it's your move.